Today I'll be talking about my favorite rides from Epic Universe. I got the amazing opportunity to go to the park on October 21st, and I wanted to talk about all of the rides I went on and also rank them. But before we start, I didn't ride everything. I did miss out on some rides like Fire Drill, Yoshi's Adventure, Dragon Racer Rally, and the Carousel, but every other ride in the park I did do, so let's just begin the rankings. Last place, but it's still alright, is Curse of the Werewolf. This is the worst ride at Epic Universe that I rode, and I think of that for a couple of different reasons. First, the queue line really isn't that themed, being that it has some cool looking shading, building structures, I guess, but after that, there just really isn't a whole lot. The ride experience is still a good coaster since the spinning is fun, and I very much enjoyed the swing launch, but I just can't put it over many other coasters in this park. It isn't thrilling enough to put any higher, and the theming isn't as good as a Hiccups Wing Glider. In my opinion, it's just the park's Flight of the Hippogriff, where it's a family-style ride that isn't really themed and kind of just thrown in to fill out the lineup, but the spinning is still very cool in my opinion. Next up is Mario Kart. This is a fun little dark ride that I think is unique in the way that it operates, since putting on the glasses and actually playing Mario Kart is cool, but compared to many other Universal dark rides, the sets are just so bland. It did a lot of mainly empty rooms with light theming, and all the cars for the game are on the glasses, and not actual other cars on the track that ride with you, so I thought that was a little bit of a letdown. But the game itself was still fun, since you were trying to hit all the other cars with green shells, and it's basically like a shooting dark ride in that aspect, and you're trying to get 100 points to win the game. I think that the game itself is pretty fun and it's pretty entertaining, but I was hoping for more of a dark ride theming since there really was not a whole lot, but I would love to see a different Mario Kart ride in the future. One that I thought could have been a lot better, and that is Donkey Kong. This was a ride that I thought could have been as high as number 3, and it just didn't live up to those expectations. I just thought that the ride was slightly too short, and I was hoping for some more theming, since it is good, but it's like more jump out at you theming than like dark ride theming, which was kind of what I was hoping for. The ride is still cool though. One of those things that make it so cool are the trains, which being above the fake track are still very cool. I thought all the fake track segments were cool, and I like the parts where it looked like you were gonna hit something, but you don't, and then you like drop down. I thought the drops are also surprisingly good and pretty fun. Feels slightly janky, and I wish there was more like actual theming. There was some at the end with Donkey Kong, but I wish they kind of spread that out a little bit more. Hiccups Wing Glider lands here. This is a solid roller coaster, and I believe it's way better than the Curse of the Werewolf, and even Donkey Kong by a little bit. First, the queue line, and man, I won't even lie, this is probably the worst queue line in Epic Universe. There's absolutely nothing here, and half the queue isn't even shaded, which on hot days, which when I went, is horrible. But past that, the ride is good with a upward launch, which is super punchy, and some amazing scenic turns over the water and pathways that give such good views. You then have a stopping point where you're stuck in this like nest or something, and a really cool moment is when the ride thinks and like fakes you out that you're gonna launch right back up, when that shuts down, and I even thought that the ride broke and we're gonna have to get off the ride or they're gonna have to restart it or something. But no, it's all part of the ride, and then you just shoot right back out, go through some more turns and other theming types, and I liked it a ton. Third place goes to the Ministry of Magic. This is a good Harry Potter ride, but in my opinion, out of this and the ones at Islands of Adventure, this is probably the worst one. But don't get that twisted, I still think it's a very good Universal dark ride with many interesting aspects. First, the trains are super weird, being that's like a theater style, it has like 12 seats, and the restraints are only a seatbelt, which is super strange. Then the ride has a whole lot of screens, which some might hate, but I personally don't mind that at all. And they also have some alright sets mixed in as well, with a handful of good animatronics, which are pretty good and were the best part of the ride for me. The ride is kind of all over the place with its theming, but in that sense, it makes it quite chaotic, which is actually pretty fun for me. And it's not too much of a downside, and also the decent length as well. It makes it a decent dark ride. The runner-up, but man, is still so elite, is Monsters Unchained. This was the dark ride that was the most anticipated ride going in, and it blew those expectations out of the water. It was insane. The queue line is on another level with many rooms with high-level detailing and 2 showrooms that tell you about the ride with multiple animatronics. It's insane. Then the ride itself with the Kuka arms is just masterful Universal theming. The ride is about 3 minutes long, has endless animatronics, which with like 10 or so across the entire ride. Insane stuff. You get inches away from all the monsters. It's so cool. It's also not super kid friendly, which I love the fact they actually made it super unsettling and weird and just have like a dark feeling. I like that a lot, and man, I wish I could put it 1. It's that good, and probably the best dark ride that I've ever ridden. First has to go to Stardust Racers. This roller coaster was one of the most memorable first rides that I've ever had. It was insane. For me, I surprisingly liked the first half more than the second half, and that was because it was just an onslaught of airtime hills that were RMC level ejector. The top hat sent me flying, and all the other ejector hills were just so fun. I had no idea what was happening. It was amazing. Then the second half has the one inversion on the ride, which is super cool, weaving in and out of the other train. It also has some more airtime moments, and it's about as elite as it gets. The dueling aspect also adds another element of complexity that is just so interesting and so fun. The only downside is that the launches aren't really that powerful, but that's to really be expected with these mock coasters since they're not really known for powerful launches or anything like that, but it's a complete ride with so much powerful ejector airtime, I couldn't get enough of it. Thanks for watching, and I liked all the rides that I went on, and I can't now wait to go again and get some more rides in and do the ones that I also missed out on and maybe rank them later, but other than that, have a good day.